All right, so in order to get the homework done tonight, you needed to get to the graphing part of the classwork. So this is my version of the graph for Henry and Emil. And this graph, we've got Henry is the red line. He is the non-proportional linear relationship because he is not starting at 0, 0. And then we have Emil, which is down here on the blue line, and he is the proportional relationship. He is on the origin, which means we can take his time and just multiply it by 2.5, and we will get his distance. No additional addition or subtraction needed. So this is what your graph should look like, obviously without the people, right? And your homework is asking you to add an additional person. Your homework is asking you to add their friend, Gilberto. And Gilberto needs to have a head start of 20 meters, and he walks 2 meters per second. So on your graph, Gilberto, let's go ahead and do purple. Gilberto would have to start off at 20-meter head start. He also is not proportional because he's not starting off at 0, and he only walks 2 meters per second. So let's go ahead and my scale on the x-axis is 10 seconds. So if he's walking 2 meters per second, every 10 seconds, he walks 20 meters. So, oops, that's too high. So 10 seconds, he's going to walk 20 meters. The next 10 seconds, he's going to walk another 20 meters. The next 10 seconds, he's going to walk another 20 meters. And the next 10 seconds, he's going to walk another 20 meters. Okay, so after 40 seconds, Gilberto will be at 100 meters. And we can see what that looks like in his equation. So in addition to the graphs today, it was important that we get to the equations for all three people. Let me switch screens here real quick. And let's talk about the equations. So the equation for Henry's distance equals 1 meter per second times his time plus 45. Now, yeah, we'll get to that later. Emil, his distance equals, because he's proportionate, we only have one value here, 2.5 meters per second times time. Now, Gilberto, for the homework, Gilberto's distance equals 2 meters per second times time plus a 20-second head start. So we're going to see Gilberto's rate being multiplied by time, just like we see Emil's rate being multiplied by time and Henry's rate being multiplied by time. So if we were to compare Gilberto's graph and also take a look at the equations, so there's the equation, so that's 2a. And if we were to look at his graph and compare it, we would see that Gilberto, let me go ahead and make a straight line here. Turn purple, straight line. Okay, so Gilberto, his line is more steep than Henry's, but it is less steep than Emil's. So if you notice, Emil is going up quickly. He gets to 100 and he starts at 0. Gilberto has to have a 20-meter head start, and after the same amount of time, 40 seconds, he's going to end up at 100, but with a 20-meter head start. So that means he must be going slower. And if you look at the slope or the slant or angle of his line, it is more towards the flat orientation than towards vertical. So that means his slope is less, or it's more flat. And Emil's slope is steeper or more steep. Okay, Henry has the most flat line or the least steep line. So you can see that Henry his line is the most flat or the least steep. Okay, so Gilberto is like in the middle between the two. He's slower than Emil because his line is more flat than Emil, but he's faster than Henry because his line is more steep than Henry. So those are the answers we're looking for in the homework. That's what your graph should look like. Close to, you might have gone by 5s, that's fine. And your equations are here for all 3 individuals, Henry, Emil, and Gilberto. Hopefully that helped.